Okey-doke. Hello everyone, this is Kevin Druids Club Shop Manager and long-time fan Tom Kenmuir. I'm here to present the first episode of Druids' new podcast, The Penalty Box. And with us today is Druids Chairman Des Williams, and we have had some great questions sent in to find out more about his time at the club. So welcome to The Penalty Box, Des.
Thank you very much for having me, Tom. Nice to be here.
So, without further ado, let's get straight to the questions.
Be gentle with me, will you, for God's sake?
Okay, I'll do my best.
Thank you.
Right, since you have become chairman of Kevin Druids Football Club, can you briefly outline some of the changes that have been implemented?
Yeah, we changed the whole way the club is run from a business perspective, because in the past it was run as a football club and not as a business, and you can't be a football club in Tier 1, Tier 2, so you have to be a business first and foremost, which is what I've done. The function room was changed, the change rooms have been tidied up, got new floodlights, new IT, new Wi-Fi, computers, that sort of thing. Just basic housekeeping really, and a different sort of way of working.
There has unfortunately been some negative and potentially damaging statements and comments about the club on various social media platforms. How do you react to this?
Initially I was quite upset about it, because I'm not from round here, and I thought these people were serious, and that the way that I was operating was wrong. I've quickly realised that a lot of people have got a lot to say. I just think that they've got nothing else in their life to worry about and to complain about, so they pick on the outsider that they don't know, that's running the club, that was in the mire. And if some of the people that have been in the club that have left just took a deep breath and looked at it, they'd see that we're trying desperately to keep the club alive and afloat. If I wasn't here, I think the club would have gone bust. How do I react to it now? I laugh, actually. You know, you've got the banjo player. I mean, I just think, I don't know what drives him forward, but just let him get on with it. The failed coach who now resides over in the wastelands of North Wales has got a lot to say, but what he doesn't tell people is that we paid for his coaching badge and we've supported him in everything he wanted to do, but he still wants to pour scorn on us. So I look at it as, you know, they're just coaches who have got not a lot to say really, and not a lot going on in life, and we move on. It's the racism that I find quite hard to deal with sometimes, especially when it's been the people that started it all with their secret Druids Facebook page. They didn't realise how many idiots there were out there in the world, and it's those idiots that are jumping on the bandwagon who've got no allegiance to the club or the area. They're the ones that start causing the problem. But we move on, and as long as I'm doing a good job and you're happy, Tom, that's all that matters in the world.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I've noticed a change in the atmosphere in the club as well, and I think it's only going to be a good thing. So everybody needs to be on board. That's the way I look at it, you know. Anyway, moving on. One fan contacted me recently to say that he had heard that you had received a good offer from someone to buy the club, but that you had refused to sell. Can you shed any light on this?
Yeah, the last year I've had 6 people make an offer to buy the club, and I keep saying to everybody, I don't own the club. I'm the chairman. I'm a custodian of the club. Yes, I've put some money into the club, but I'm not an owner. The caveat on 4 of the 6 offers that we've had, I've said proof of funds. Show me they've got the money. Stop talking. Just put the money on the table. Put a statement on the table. And they failed. They haven't been able to do it. There's 2 offers on the table. One from a local businessman who, again, did a lot of talking, but there's no proof of funds as yet. And the people that we're speaking to next week have proof of funds and have done the business plan that I've asked them for. Really, really nice guy. Loves football, Welsh football. Is connected to a club already within the Welsh system, and he shares my passion and my vision for the club moving forward. But there is nothing in writing or verbally that has me refusing an offer. What there is me saying to people, put a bag of money on the table and show me you can afford it.
That's it, yeah.
Because it does cost between £4,000 and £6,000 a week to run this club during the season.
This is what people don't realise. They don't realise the actual running costs that's involved, you know.
And that's what caught the previous chairman out, because he spent £435,000 in a year after they went to Europe. That's a lot of money to spend to stay at the bottom of Tier 1 when your average Tier 1 team is spending £160,000 just to survive.
That's right. Yeah, it's all very interesting, I must admit. A fan has told me that he heard that the club was in deep financial trouble and was close to going out of business. What's your answer to that?
I hear it every week. No, we're not in financial trouble, all joking aside. We do have issues within the club that we are trying to resolve in terms of personnel, but financially we're on a good footing.
Excellent. I'm sure a lot of people would be pleased to hear that. Several people have commented about what they see as a lot of changes to the academy coaching setup, with some coaches leaving and some new coaches coming in. Any answer to that?
Yeah, the best person to speak to about that is our new technical director, Matthew. From my personal view, I've never been in a situation where coaches don't do the job that you're employed to do. I've never been in a situation where coaches feel that they are entitled to make extortionate demands at stupid o'clock at night, that if you don't pay them they're not going to go to a game and coach the kids. I find that incredible. I find it incredible that the difference between an FAW B licensed coach and an FA B licensed coach is one of just mere professionalism. We've lost some very good coaches because of personal circumstances, work and what have you, and they've gone to grassroots. Fair play. But that's not always been the case, and I'm saddened about that. The other changes in the academy is that the FAW have now mandated this new application, and most of the grassroots mentality can't grasp the fact that the FAW are now trying to get us up to a more elite standard. And it is a real ball ache, a proper ball ache, but it's for the best of the players. And the remit that they set out in 2019 was that they wanted to have players in the Cymru Prem playing for Wales. Chances of that happening are slim to bugger all at the moment, but it might happen in the near future. The issue is how you get there, and what the FAW have done is they've said this is the mandate, this is what we want the clubs to do, but then they haven't publicly gone out to parents and what have you and said this is what we're asking the clubs to do. So the parents are only seeing, or the players are only seeing what we're trying to implement and going, why are we doing that, why are we doing that, why are we doing that? Well, we're doing it because it's part of the audit. So they are the main changes within the academy. It's quite painful, and two senior officials at the FAW last season, at the end of last season, sent me an email congratulating me on the fact that we've achieved so much in such a short space of time. It is painful. It is very painful. But if the parents are bearing with us, they'll get the benefit.
Excellent. That's really interesting, that, Des.
No, it wasn't. It's gone over your head, hasn't it?
No. This might be a bit personal now. How bad were things when you came in? And did you know beforehand how bad things really were?
I came in purely as a sponsor, put 500 quid in from a board. I was told everything was A-OK, just needed 20 grand. And I thought, my mother-in-law's from Kevin, from Ruaben. Her parents are from Kevin. Put something back in. My wife asked me to do something, so that's what I did. I came in as a sponsor. What people don't realise, how bad things were, was the club was going to Lithuania and didn't have the money to go. So they went to the FAW for a loan, and the FAW took too long to get them the money. So they went to a friendly travel agent and asked the travel agent to arrange it, and then didn't pay for it until they got back. So the travel agent front-loaded the cost to go to Lithuania. At that point, I said there must be a problem within the club, and I was assured that there wasn't. Cut a long story short, when I attended 2 board meetings, and those board meetings, the chairman at the time said, we only owe 20 grand, you don't know what you're talking about, it's not that bad. And he lied to his fellow directors. And that lie had me painted as being some sort of criminal, some person that wants to go in and steal the club. And that wasn't true at all. The actual liar was the person that said, everything's all right. On November the 1st, 2019, when I came into the club, I was sat in this very room, and a large man turned up with a brown envelope, and 15 minutes after I arrived, the club had been served a £15,000 winding up petition. And when I looked at the then chairman and said, what's that all in aid of, because you're picking the tab up, he did everything but look me in the eye and go, sorry. We didn't realise the true depth. I thought it was 135 grand outstanding. There was an operating loss of 190,000 plus 135,000 was needed to see the end of the season out. So we didn't realise how bad it was. So I took my wife to a Costa Coffee and said to her, do you mind if I just get involved, because I quite fancy a bit of a challenge. And she agreed. So for my wife, if she'd have said no, I would have walked away, but the club would have gone bust. So we've cleared all the debts. And I want to say again that the directors at the time had no idea the true scale of the problem that was at the club, because they hadn't been told. And nor had the fans, nor had the FAW. And I think that's completely wrong. So we've cleared the debts and we move on. And yeah, there are a few things that we argued about, and a few of the fans heard a few rumours and all the rest of it. But now we're on a sound, solid footing. Even the accountant has praised us for the restructure of what we've done and cleared out. Would I do it again? Yeah, I would actually, but I'd have done things differently. I would have been more cutthroat, more ruthless in with the people that were in place. And the one thing I will say is that the person that held it all together was Jason Starkey. If it hadn't been for Jason, there would be no club. I would not be here to sponsor it in the first place. He put a lot of effort in. And John Hughes was a good man, a good footballing man, but his pride and his ego wouldn't allow him to stand up and go, I need help. And so here I am, picking up the pieces, because he couldn't be bothered to stand up and go, hey, I need help.
That's it. I'm sure that's very interesting. I mean, a lot of fans will be quite happy to hear that sort of that answer, clear up a lot of misconceptions. It's a big word, isn't it? Right, well, moving on then. There has been a court case involving the club and former employees and directors. Why was that, and what was the outcome?
Yeah, I heard this rumour that I'm being sued left, right and centre, and I'll clarify that. So the first court case was our bookkeeper had been made redundant unfairly, and what people don't know is that I actually agreed with him in his court papers. I actually agreed that he was dismissed, made redundant incorrectly. I disagreed with his claim overall, because he was getting paid £120 for 30 seconds work. Then we had 2 other members of staff and he actually sued John Hughes, and I was left with the court case. The 2 other members of staff who worked in the bar sued the club under John Hughes and Brian Mackey's tenure for constructive dismissal. Again, I agreed that they had been treated unfairly. I agreed that their terms and conditions of work were wrong, and I made them an offer prior to going to court to settle it. They refused, thinking they were going to win the lottery, and actually walked out with a third of what they
I think, sorry to interrupt.
No.
I think that was the time, I think they were getting advice off someone who didn't know what he was talking about.
Yeah, and that individual, again, he's been in the past been quite vocal. It's quite interesting. I actually quite like him. Whether or not they got good or bad advice is neither here nor there. At the end of the day, I supported the way they were treated. I thought it was grim. It was horrible. It shouldn't have happened that way. And I'm quite sad that it ended up in court. Now, in court, the judge did say that the club and myself were not to be held responsible for the claim that was against us. But at the end of the day, the head of a fish smells, and I was the head of the fish, so it comes on to me. Now, John Hughes is suing the club, or has sued the club for money that he said he put into the club. I think it was £6,000, and he won. He got his, he's got a judgment against us for £6,000, and he can have his £6,000. What the situation that he finds himself in as of a couple of weeks back is that not only did we pay the £6,000 that he borrowed from an official at the club prior to me coming in that he said I was going to pay, not only did we pay the £15,000 winding up order that was served on the club, but then we have a contract between John and the former directors whereby all debts that were not disclosed at the time of my coming in would be paid by the former directors and the chairman. Now, you're sitting at 190 grand. Some of those people, well, I would say all of them, had no idea the depth of the problem. So, and I can't go into it too much, but it's an ongoing situation where we're going to be looking at Mr. Hughes and going, can I have some money, please?
Yeah. Right, we shall move on.
That's shocked you, that, hasn't it?
Yeah, that's a bit, yeah.
And I mean, to be fair, I haven't seen any of the questions, and I'm literally telling you the truth. I'm being totally honest.
And that is much appreciated by everyone who's listening to this, I hope. Right, okay, moving on then. You have often been outspoken about the game and the situation in general. What has it achieved, and has it had an impact on the club?
It's made me feel better. At the end of the day, if people are going to take a pot shot at me personally for things that I've done, I'll take it on the chin. I've got no issues with that at all. I'm big enough and ugly enough to do that. If people want to pour scorn on the efforts of the good people that are here, like yourself, like Julie and Chaplin, then I think that's unfair. And I don't look to pick a fight with anybody. It wasn't me that started a Facebook group that was invitation only. It wasn't me that's called me names, or I haven't called anybody names. I've just let everybody get on with what they want to do. So I've never started the problem. Mm-hmm. The problem has started because of other people who have either got jealous or want to hide something, or they're the ones that have taken a view of me. Mm. So we move on with that, and there we know. I'm letting that one go now.
Yeah, right. What's your vision for the team going forward, and the process of getting us back to the Cumbria Premier?
We need to get back in the Prem pretty quickly. I think that the Prem's going to expand into maybe 14, 16 teams. I think. I think there's a lot of, from having a conversation with the FAW, I think there's a lot of appetite for an expansion as opposed to a reduction.
Yeah, because some teams are playing each other 4 times a season, and it doesn't. To me, it doesn't work.
So the cost of going into Tier 1 needs to come down. Hence why we have an EDS program now that's full time, headed by Matthew Harris. That will reduce costs. We have it on. We had it confirmed on what date? Today, Thursday. It was Tuesday. The FAW have done an audit for clubs in Tier 1, Tier 2, and we're the leading club for having academy graduates into the first team. And you'll get the trolls going, oh yeah, but look, you conceded 93 goals and blah, 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 blah.
It was 96 actually.
96 goals, yeah, 96 goals. Well, we did an audit, and we can say that those young players contributed to 6 goals being scored directly from errors that they made. 6 goals out of the whole season. And you sit there and you think, these are 17, 18-year-old lads who may never get the chance to go play Tier 1 football again. They can take that away. You know, some of them are going down the road to other clubs now, to more grassroots clubs, other grassroots clubs. You know, and they can take that memory of playing at Cardiff or Penabont or TNS or what have you. That's what they've done. So, yeah, it's just, we're getting there slowly.
Yeah, good. What's your relationship with Neil Ashton, and why did you decide to appoint him as manager?
Me and Ashley, prior to him coming to the club, were in conversation for about a year, 18 months. I had to wait for him to finish his career at Llandudno. My relationship with him is very, very good. We speak. He said to me, I don't want to speak to you every day. He said, I only want to speak to you once a week. And we speak to each other every day, more or less. And he phones me, which is quite a rare thing. He's a very, very, very knowledgeable man. Yes, he's a rookie coach, but he's done so much good work in the last 6 months. It's been unbelievable. He's found it hard to adjust, I think, from being a player to a manager. But his professionalism is top notch. And why I recruited him was because of his passion. And if you read some of his tweets from 2 years ago about the club and what was going on, he cared. And when I spoke to him about it, he cared. And that's the sort of person we need leading the first team forward.
Yeah, excellent. Why did we lose the previous manager?
I've never sacked a manager. In fact, I've never sacked any member of staff here. They've left because of, for whatever reason. Bruno left because his mum contracted COVID and he didn't want to face lockdown in his accommodation that we supplied him with, so he went home. The other managers were found lacking, didn't subscribe to the way that we want to play football, and that is up-tempo, using youth, on the deck, through the thirds, 4-2-3-1, high press, high block, low block, whatever it is that these coaches talk about. I want to play entertaining football, and they just wanted to play long ball. So they left. Neil wants to play lumpet football every now and again, but he also wants to use youth and put it on the deck and play some good stuff. I mean, the days when Hugh was running the show and we had Alec Madimu, you had Fizz, you had Matty Owen, they just put the ball on the deck and sprayed it all over the place. That's what football's all about.
Yeah, good. Excellent. Do you have any input on the footballing side of the club?
None whatsoever. A footballer should never run a business, and a businessman should never run a football team. I have absolutely no say or involvement in the day-to-day running of the football team. That's down to Neil. He sits on it. If anything that goes wrong, it's down on him. He takes the plaudits when we win, and he takes the brickbats when we lose. I don't know what the team is until an hour before kick-off. Julie knows. You know, because you get the team sheet.
Yeah.
You know what the team is before I do.
Right.
And I like it that way because I can then sit in the stand and watch the game as a fan, as a spectator, rather than sitting there as the chairman all the time.
Excellent. And the final question I've got for you, Des, on here anyway, how are we progressing with the application for a Class A academy?
Very well indeed. The issue that we've got is personnel. Not that they don't want to work for us, they're just not qualified. There are a lot of coaches out there, C-licensed football leaders who aspire to work in the academy system. And the one thing that I think a lot of local people don't get is academy football is different to grassroots football. It's different to Welsh football as it stands. Academy football is very ruthless, very cutthroat, it's all about development. And when I came in, I said to coaches, you're going to be judged on how many players go up as opposed to how many goals you score, not concede. And people didn't believe me, but they are believing me now. And the application's doing very well. I think we'll end up being a Cat A academy with a Cat B licence, because we can't find the quality of Cat A coaches for our age groups. But we've got all the facilities, we've got everything else. We just can't find them. And I really don't want to bring them over the border. I want local coaches who have got a dream and a desire to want to coach within an academy system.
Well, I think that wraps it up then, Des. Thank you very much for your honesty and your forthrightness.
I've got a question for you.
Go on.
As a fan, and you're quite vocal on social media, hence why I'm so glad you're now asking the questions. What are your thoughts about what we're doing and where we're going and what's happening?
Rome wasn't built in a day. I think it'll probably take us maybe a couple of seasons to get to where we want to be. Because I see the guys on a Saturday or whatever day we're playing, and I think there's some really good guys here, and then you maybe see someone else who you think, perhaps he ain't going to make the grade, maybe not good enough for tier 1, good enough for tier B, but tier 2, but not good enough for tier 1. Again, that's only a matter of opinion, because football is all about opinions. And but I come here to do my little bit in the club shop, and I enjoy it because there's a good atmosphere in the place. There's a positive atmosphere around the place. It's just too bad that a lot of people can't see it.
Yeah. I suppose that's the case. We're getting there slowly but surely.
That's what I mean. Rome wasn't built in a day.
Yeah. And the changes. What changes have you noted?
Everything seems to be done on a more professional basis. There's more professionalism throughout the club. People are coming in. They know what they've got to do, and they do it efficiently, professionally. Also, as I said, getting back to the atmosphere, we look good on the field. Some of the stuff we played this season, to me, has been brilliant.
Right.
And I think the sky's the limit, really.
Do you think we've got the right manager in place?
Eh?
Do you think we've got the right manager in place?
Oh, I think so, definitely. Because I remember when he was here as a player, he was outstanding. He was good with the young kids. He marshalled the defence. He knew the game inside out. Led us into Europe. Oh yeah, I definitely think that he's the right man for the job.
Well, thank you ever so much.
Pleasure was all mine.